So we'll see. I'm happy to see that the IRS is trying to do something about it because it's a big problem.
So
I worked hard on that to try to scare Rachel, and she didn't move one bit.
Yeah, she's the bold one of the family,
So
I can tell.
that train wreck sound is the sound of this segment, which is the IRS train wreck of the week. And in this segment, what I do is I talk about somebody who comes in with a, usually sizable IRS problem, and we talk about how after we represented them that the tax problem is miraculously solved. So in this case,
Miraculously, it just automatically magic happens.
yeah. So in this case, this was a gentleman who actually lives in Washington, D.C. I represent clients from all over the country, not just Florida. And this gentleman called me, and he had a really, really sad story. He was a 3-time cancer survivor. Okay, that's bad enough. I mean, it's good he survived, but it's bad enough he got cancer 3 times. But he also has an active case of AIDS.
Wow.
So, I mean, like, this guy has a lot of trouble in his life, and he owed the IRS...
And tax problems.
Yeah, and tax problems. And he owed the IRS $38,999.70. So, just shy of $39,000. And we were talking about the problem, and I knew that, he's now fully disabled, so his income was dramatically reduced. And he did have one asset. He owned a house in Washington, D.C., and so D.C. is that's an expensive housing market, right?
Absolutely.
And so that was one of the things that was really concerning in the case because the value of the house is supposed to be looked at to determine his ability to pay. And so we had a long...
How does the value of the house tie into that? Just curious.
Well, if you have, let's say you owed $39,000 and you have $100,000 equity in the house,
okay,
you can afford to pay it. I mean, theoretically,
okay,
on paper, you can afford to pay it.
I don't know if the lenders would say that, but okay.
Right. But for IRS offering compromise purposes, which is what we did in this case, the equity in that asset comes into play. And so we had a very long conversation about how much was his house worth and so on and so forth. And he says, no, Darren, on paper it might be worth a lot, but you don't understand, this place is like, it's falling apart. So what we did is we went ahead and took pictures and we sent it into the IRS. And long story short, we filed an offer in compromise, and we just settled day before yesterday for $3,705. So it makes me feel really good that this gentleman who's had significant health problems and is still going actively through AIDS, that he doesn't have to worry about the IRS, because I was concerned that the IRS problem was going to shorten his life ultimately.